What? What was that?
You know how long the balls lasted?
No.
From the 6th of December till Christmas Day.
What year?
44. 44?
44, it should be. If I remember correctly, 44.
Wait a minute, yeah, 44. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning. When'd you join? Like,
We was
enlist?
the 508
When?
airborne.
Like, what year?
What's that? When I
Like,
joined the army.
when'd you enlist? Like,
When I joined the army,
yes.
1943.
So a year into the war.
I went to the 78th Lightning Division.
Where were you stationed to, like, do training and stuff in America?
Durham, North Carolina.
Dorm?
Durham, North Carolina.
Was it a good camp?
Camp McCall, no, Camp McCall. Durham.
Was it a...
Anyway.
It's fine if you don't remember.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. 1943.
Was it a...
I left there. I'll go ahead and ask me.
Was it a good camp?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a good camp. When I finished my basic and advanced training, they said you can transfer out.
Mm-hmm.
So I put in for the airborne.
Yeah.
Paratroopers.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my transfer, went down to Fort Benning, and went through the training. And then the captain came and from the building up to 515th Airborne, and he's looking for demolition men. So he said, oh, well, would you join the demolition? Well, I went through the demolition school and the paratroop school down in Fort Benning, Georgia, and went to camp, oh boy, I think it was Camp McCall in 515th. And from the 515th, they needed replacements overseas. I got over in England, June 6, 1944. Invasion of France, of Normandy.
Yes.
Invasion. And when they come back, they was telling stories. They were telling stories about when they jumped in Normandy. You want to hear a couple?
Go for it. Well, you were in it, right?
Huh?
You were in it, right?
No.
You weren't in Normandy?
No, I landed in England the day of the Normandy invasion.
Oh, really?
June 6th. I landed in England.
Mm-hmm.
Then when the boys got back, they were telling stories. Quite a few of them drowned in the swamp. And other ones were captured. The one told the story. He was sent to Poland, and he worked in a mining coal, digging coal, and they said he was treated real good. And I remember these two. They was in the predicament, and they prayed to God to get them out of that predicament over Normandy. And they made fun of it. Well, when we jumped in Holland,
Operation Market Garden?
yeah, we jumped in Holland. Well, both of them got killed. And Well, how long was we in Holland? About 3 months, something like that.
So I did some like research and I learned that the 508th kind of paired a lot with the 82nd. Like they might as well have just been together.
Yeah,
Because
well,
they
they belonged to the 82nd.
Yeah, they were like they always went together.
Yeah.
So like which part were you mainly in? Like which like whatever you dropped with them, like which part did you mainly go to?
In Holland, Bergendal. Beek, Bergendal, oh boy. Beek was part in Holland and part in and the rest of the part was in Germany. And we landed in Bergendal, right outside of Beek and Bergendal and that. And we went down to what the heck was the name of that town in Holland? Going down toward you get to take over the bridge.
That's what I heard, that Market Garden was mainly taken over bridges.
Well, there were 3 bridges.
Yes.
101st took theirs. The 504 crossed the river and took over the bridge in Holland and I can't think of the name now. But anyway, they took over the bridge. 504 did.
I heard that the no Red Devils were captured during that mission.
Oh, no Red Devils.
No Red Devils were captured. The 508?
The 508,
Yeah.
Red Devil.
Yeah, no, I heard none were captured.
No,
And I could only imagine that the All-American 82nd Division wasn't captured either.
no. The 101st,
All-American 82nd.
they was surrounded.
The 101st was surrounded?
Well, that was over the bulge.
Oh, yeah. Can't get to that yet. We're still talking about Market Garden.
Yeah.
But, I can only imagine that the 82nd, the All-American, wasn't surrounded, or didn't get captured either.
Yeah.
They did pretty good.
General Gavin was the general of the 82nd.
Just one quick question. What's your middle name? What's your middle name?
Vincent.
I found you on record online. It was a website called Men of the 82nd. I was scrolling through. It must have been hundreds of names. And I found one, Ricci. It went by last name. It was Ricci Joe V. And I told Grandma, she goes, I think his middle name's Vincent. I said,
Yeah.
I think it is. It's like, there's only one Joe Ricci in the whole 82nd out of like hundreds of names.
When I was in the 78th, went to the hospital. I had malaria. I think there was 5 Riccies in the hospital, and I was one of them.
Yeah, there was about 3 on the website. There was just one Joe. There was like 1 or 2 others. There was like, I think there was...
Well, there were a couple other ones.
Yeah.
And when I was down Florida, this guy that had a car place selling cars, you know what his name was?
Ricci.
Joseph Vincent Ricci.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard that a Market Garden was almost a terrible disaster because apparently whenever they were dropping people over, they went everywhere. They went all over their place.
Well, the British come up.
Yeah.
Up through, up to us. And, but the British in Arnhem, the bridge in Arnhem, they didn't capture. They got the hell beat out of them. And then the Polish brigade dropped in, and they didn't do any good either. They told them to get out however you can. And that's what they did. They didn't do no good. They lost a lot of men.
I heard that when Operation Market Garden was going on, there was, I think it was around 30,000 paratroopers going down, and as people were landing in France, planes were still taking off in Britain.
Landing where?
In France, like whenever people were being dropped in France, like when people hit the ground, there were still planes taking off in Britain to drop people over.
Well, the 17th jumped down in southern France. The 17th Airborne
Yes.
joined the invasion of France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hit your drop zone? Did you hit your corrected drop zone?
Yeah, Bergendal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like I said before, I heard that there were weather patterns were messed up, and there were dozens of groups, like of paratroopers, where they didn't hit their
the
drop zone.
gliders come in later. Well, they might have dropped, but troops later on. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying I heard that Market Garden was almost a complete disaster because of weather patterns that messed up the drop zones.
It wasn't a disaster.
It almost was a disaster.
Well, the whole the plan was that if the British would have taken Arnhem, I think it was the whole army, German army, was going to be surrounded.
Yeah.
That was the plan. But it didn't work out because the British didn't take Arnhem, the bridge in Arnhem.
Similar to like what he's saying about like it messing up, because I read during D-Day that because there was like the weather, they weren't prepared for it, I guess, like they couldn't see much, and when they were jumping, some paratroopers would hit the planes below them.
In Holland.
No, in D-Day. When they were invading the beaches in Normandy and there were paratroopers coming down, they didn't
Like
know that there were
behind.
planes below them, and they actually
They
plummeted.
jumped and they hit the planes below them, and it's like hitting concrete.
I don't know.
Yeah, I read that online.
Yeah. All I know is the guys that said that were there was telling about their stories about they had the fields that they were supposed to land in. They had poles with points on. The field was just filled with them, but they didn't jump there. That's what I was told. Now,
Yeah.
you know, and like I say, there was guys landed in the swamp. Some landed on the outside, and yes, others landed in the deep part and drowned.
Because I also read that because they didn't hit their exact drop zone,
Well,
that
yeah.
like some squads didn't, that actually helped because the Nazis
More
expected
likely.
them. They expected them to hit like where they were
head on.
supposed
Like
to.
they expected them just like to drive straight forward.
And they didn't, so they were confused, and it actually helped them. Like I have a quote from a Nazi general, a German officer. It says, "The reason that the American army does so well in wartime is that war is chaos, and the American army practices chaos on a daily basis."
Well, yeah, here and there, you know. But Patton, he rushed and got the 101st out of from there in Bastogne.
Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah.
And then the 82nd pinched up the northern.
Well, I can't tell you the town, but we was at, the 508 was at, they called it Base Bordeaux and Hut Bordeaux. And we was there, and they ordered us to fall back and straighten the line out. And we went back 8 Mile on the, what was that, this Christmas Eve? Yeah, Christmas Eve it was, or the day before Christmas Eve. We went back to Hutperdo, up in the highest part, and stayed there. And they straightened the line out. The bulge only lasted from the 6th of December to the 25th of December.
And it was a success.
That was it.
101st were dropped in, and they had to wait for reinforcements.
The 101st.
Yes, that's what I read. I watched a video on YouTube.
Oh, they did. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I heard that
Yeah.
they needed a really good division, so they pretty much went to the 101st, and they said you're gonna have no contact, like no radio transmissions, no backup until however much time, all that stuff. And they said, when do we start? So they dropped them in, and they held off against tanks, armies, like they just held off, and then
we all went up in trucks.
yeah, then backup came and helped out the 101st, and they took the city of Bastogne.
Patton.
Yes, but they couldn't get the reinforcements there immediately because they had to. There was a long route they had to take,
Yeah. Yeah.
so they had to hold off against German tanks and soldiers, and it worked. Did you fight in the Battle of the Bulge?
Yeah.
Wasn't it like one of the coldest battles of the war?
They said it was the coldest winter in 45 years.
Do you see toes getting breaking off? Toes snapping off?
No. There was guys that got frostbite and that.
Was there trench foot?
Yeah. But I don't, there was only one guy in our squad that got frostbite in his toes, that's all.
Only one?
Yeah.
God, I forget what I read. I think it was more popular
In
for...
my squad, the squad I was in, there was only one that got frostbite.
I think it was more popular for the Germans, like where they were stationed. I read it, like I heard it in the video. They tested boots, like how cold or what wet they would deal. And I think they said it was like more popular for the Americans to get trench foot and the Germans to get frostbite. I forget why.
We didn't have no winter gear when we went up.
Yeah, there was like thin boots.
Yeah.
So like their toes would get all wet and they'd shrivel up and
There was guys
fall
that
off.
Got their sleeping bags
And they put them around their feet.
and they cut holes for their feet and their arms, and they wore it to protect you. Right?
So it was like a big giant coat of some sort.
Yeah,
That's smart, actually.
yeah.
Did you do that?
Oh no, well, there was one guy, and he was kind of small. He found this big sheepskin coat,
Where?
and when he put it on, and the bottom of the sheepskin coat come clear to his feet.
Where did he find it?
Bottom of his feet, in one of the houses.
Oh, he just found it in one of the... It was a house like...
Yeah.
Was it abandoned?
Oh yeah, we had.
Yeah,
we
Bastogne.
we evacuated
Oh, yeah.
the people,
Uh-huh.
and yeah. Boy, we watched the planes, the fighter planes, when we went up to Hutperdo, high up, and the old planes come in there, boy, and they strafed and blew the hell out of the Germans down there. Yeah. Wave after wave come in. Oh, they had one plane. The Germans had two, from what I heard, the Germans had two jet planes. One of them come in Holland and dropped a bomb on the bridge, and he missed the bridge, and he took off. Well, when he come back the next day, I don't know how many fighter planes were there. when he come back and dropped the bomb, he missed again. And fighter planes finally shot him down. They had him surrounded. I heard, this is a story I heard now, that there was only 2 jet planes, German jet planes. But the buzz bombs, they come over our heads. When I was up in Hot Bordeaux, come right over our heads. They were going to Aachen or one of the German towns at that time. Well, when we made the move back, after they straightened the line out, when we moved it back, we ended up in Aachen, Germany. Then we got relieved. The 508 went back to base camp. And that was it as far as we were concerned, because the war was coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And then they heard about the prisoners, that they might be, the Germans might kill them,
Yeah.
the American prisoners. So they put the airborne in airports. If they got the word that they was going to kill the prisoners, then the airborne was going to jump on prison camps, but it never happened. So that was it as far as we was in France when the war come to an end.
I heard that I was doing this project in school about the Nazi prison camps like Auschwitz and stuff, and I was reading on this website. It was a website about survivors, basically, and there was this thing. It was like letters written from people about the prison camps.
Oh, they went in, from what stories I heard, they went in to these prison camps, and they started feeding these prisoners that were starved. A lot of them died that way.
Because they fed them too much. Yeah, they couldn't take the nutrition that fast.
Yeah.
But apparently, whenever people like Patton and I think it was one time Patton and Eisenhower went to the same camp, and Patton started throwing up on the side of the road, and Eisenhower went into camp and analyzed every single inch of the camp. So in case people back home, like in America, actually said they believed the rumor saying that's not true, actually tell them firsthand, I witnessed literally like malnourished Jewish people literally dying at my feet. And he was just so disgusted that it actually happened.
Yeah, the guys in the 4th Infantry Division, I guess my brother was there in that 4th Infantry Division, and they witnessed them prisoners.
There was also a British soldier that there was just a whole list of letters. There's maybe about 5 of them on this website. That was the one whenever there was Eisenhower and Patton, whatever. There was a British soldier one. He wrote it to his wife, I think it was. He found a train car. I think they were dead. There was dead Jewish people in there because they had the stars on their chests and stuff. And his whole squad looked at it and they were so angry because that was like the first time they've ever seen something like that. And they were so angry, they just started storming down the street, not caring if there were Germans coming their way, not even caring for cover, but they literally just wanted to find Germans and just take them out. They were just so mad and appalled that they could actually do that to people. They literally just risked their own lives, knowing that they could have taken cover, knowing that they could have waited till reinforcements. They just wanted to go and burn off some steam by pretty much getting mad at some Nazis. Like, it was like that bad, like it hit everybody.
Well, you know more than I do, didn't you?
Nah,
You have first-hand experience. Not with that kind of stuff, but
Part.
yes.
Toward the end of the war, there was a lot of old men that Hitler put in, and gave them a gun, and they surrendered. They surrendered by the hundreds. Patrols. I remember one patrol went out, and when they come back, I forget how many German were walking behind them with their hands up. There was one place there that this one guy was watching these prisoners. There must have been about, I couldn't say, about 30 of them or something like that. And he said, "Hey Joe, you watch these prisoners while I want to give relief." He says, "I've been here, I forget how long," he said. And I said, "Yeah." He says, "I'll get in touch with the sergeant and I'll get you relieved." I says, "Okay." Well, I didn't see him anymore. But anyway, there was about, I'd say 30 prisoners, German. And this one prisoner, he says, "Yeah, you speak, you Italian?" And I says, "Yeah." And he said, "You speak Italian?" And I says, "Yeah." He says, "We're froze, our feet are froze. There was a barn." He said, "Will you take us up to that barn so we can get in the hay and that, take our boots off?" I said, "I got to get permission." So nobody was around that, could tell me to go. I asked that I could take them. So I finally says, "Yeah, come on." So I took them up in that barn, and they took their boots off. A lot of them, their feet were white. And they were rubbing each other's feet with the straw and the hay, And they were taking off, after a while, they was taking off their wedding bands to give to me.
How many men did that to you?
Quite a few of them. And I said, "No." I said, "They're sacred." I told them, I talking this Italian.
Yeah.
Thing. I told them, "No." I said, "That's sacred. I don't want them. You keep them."
How long did they stay in the barn?
Well, I don't know. I got relieved, and I couldn't tell you after that. I couldn't say nothing about that after. But all I know was, I bet you some of them lost their toes or feet or something.
I wouldn't doubt
Because
it.
they were white.
Yes.
I felt sorry for them. They were old men.
They were innocent men, yeah, forced to fight.
Yeah, old ones. They gave up. They gave up by the hundreds.
Joe, tell us about all the girlfriends you had back in France.
No.
Uh,
Piece of meat on a bread.
Want to know about some of the girlfriends?
Absolutely.
Well, when we was up hike to go, the company was up, standing up in front of this house. And I'm standing there, and I'm looking at there. I see these guys
Pointing at themselves.
pointing at themselves. And I said, "What's going on?" He said, "There's a girl up there in the window, and she's pointing down here." And these guys are all pointing to themselves. She was going, "No." I looked up at her and I went like this, and she said, "Yeah."
Was she pretty?
"Oh yeah." I says, "We're around the house, So I said to Sergeant, I said, you mind if I can go? He said, yeah, go ahead. So I went and knocked on the door and the mother came. The mother talked English. The girl did too. Well, I had to, it was there, she gave me a cup of coffee. They were talking. And I said, well, I gotta go, back. And then she said, see you tonight. I said, okay. So I went back. The sergeant put me and Taylor on guard duty where the bank went down to the thing. There was the woods there. So he put us on guard duty in that, watching that woods, walking back to that. He said we'd send out. So there was no Germans coming up and,
Sneak attack.
patrols.
Yeah, sneak attack.
Yeah. And I said, well, I'm gonna, you and Taylor's on patrol, on guard here. So we was on guard and I didn't see her anymore. They got evacuated. And Roy Nash, he was shot in the leg in Beek in Holland. And he limped, and so they gave him a scout car to drive. So he had to go back up to Hut Prideaux. He said, Joe, you want to ride up with me? I said, yeah, I'll ride up with you. Got permission from the sergeant. I'll ride up with you. I was sitting in the vehicle, and he had to go in the building. He had to take something in there. Who come up the road but the mother? She saw me. Oh, she was really excited. Come up and gave me a big hug. And she's glad to see me. I made a mistake that I never got their address.
Excuse me.
I never made a mistake. I never got their address. And then we left there. Their daughter was at the grandmother's house. And so we left, and that was the story. I never saw him again.